and we're 50 days into Trump's reign. So this is the countdown of the first 100 days. And I've got a guest with me. Does everyone recognise who it is? We've got to wait for you to get into the chat. What's that?
I said they forgot who I was.
They forgot. So what's been happening?
Oh my gosh. Well, publicly a lot. There's I just saw something right before I hopped on this live that Trump is currently working a ceasefire with Ukraine, and now they're just waiting for Russia to sign it. I haven't verified if it's true or not.
Is that out in like the Middle East or Saudi they're doing it?
I'm not sure. Someone just sent me a link and I haven't even looked at it, but I haven't really like checked it. So hopefully that's true. But there's just so much happening. I went to the inauguration, and ever since that.
Tell us about that. We were trying to talk about that. So take us through what happened. So that was cool. We saw the videos of that. That was good. And 50. So we're 50 days in, but 50 is Donald, 50 is America, 50 is Paul, 50 is fights. Eileen for my grandmother. So it's good. It's a good number. And there's obviously 50 states in the US. But there's probably going to be a whole bunch more soon. Maybe there'll be 88 states of America when it's all said and done, or maybe more.
Maybe. But the rate this is going, can you just imagine him doing what he's done in this presidency and the first presidency? How crazy!
I know.
It would have been insane. I think we needed those 4 years of Joe Biden. I know we needed those 4 years of Joe Biden, but the inauguration.
I know it seems in the grand scheme it seems necessary. I would have been totally ready for 2020 though. I would have accepted it all. I was like, just go for it, Donald. Just demolish the whole thing, take it down. It's just this. It just has to be paced out, doesn't it, for everyone to get on. But I know what you mean. It was necessary, but I would have been totally okay if it was. I'd have been okay if they pulled the plug 3 weeks into COVID. I'd have been like, "This is great." I thought that was what was going to happen. I was like, just do it, because I didn't realize that no one else really. Not no one else. I didn't realize that the mass population of the world had no clue, and they weren't thinking the same thoughts. And I was ready. I was like, "Yeah, go on, go on. This is it. Just do it." I don't know. Take us to this time period. Yeah.
I think the majority. I wonder if there will ever be like a percentage of, because I know they can kind of measure that based on like what people are talking about with their phones and with their devices.
Yeah.
Like if we could know that in March of 2020, 12% of the population was awake, or whatever the percentage of the population, we could see like over time it's shifting. I'm sure they know all of that, but that'd be really interesting to see. Because in 2020, that early, I don't think I would have known. I would have been like, okay, what's he doing now? What's going on?
Hey Ed, how are you? Yeah, well that's the thing, because your awakening kind of happened a year, 18 months later, didn't it? It was like when was yours 2021 really? Was that
2020, and then I would say the political awakening was 2020, and then more of like a spiritual type thing happened in 2021, because there's like two different aspects of it almost, and I think a lot of people can relate to that.
So maybe that's the thing. It might have caught a lot of people that are awake now. It might have caught. Well, it would have caught them out, I guess, as well. So, but I was so ready. I was like, yeah, come on. I'm ready for this, because really the stuff I understand. I mean, there's new pieces to it, and there's other things I've understood. But I do miss 2020. I've said it before. I miss 2020 because it was such a jump, and I was already awake. I knew a lot of things were nonsense, and I knew before they pulled the plug on actually doing lockdowns. I knew it was bollocks, but I was like, they're going to do this anyway, But then things like the numbers came and connecting, and I was just taught stuff. I was like, so I was all for it. But we're here now, So, and if there's more people on board, then great, because that's what we want. We want more to come over. I just didn't realise. That was the other thing. I had no real contemplation or comprehension that so many wouldn't have. I just thought everyone was on the same page. I was like, well, it's obvious. But anyway, so
yeah,
we're here now.
I remember after waking up, like politically, walking around Target, and I was like, has it always been this bad with the symbolism and with the fact that there were only Democrat politicians, only their books were on the shelves, and there were I don't think there was a single conservative back in 2020. And then you're just like, you notice everything. So I'm thankful as much as those 4 years of Biden were terrible, our country definitely needed it because more people are awake now, and I'm seeing on, TikTok and Twitter and stuff, people are like, okay, especially with the speech on the 4th of March when he was up, trying to
Hey,
get people
Susan.
trying to unify the country, and the Democrats are just sitting there like
Yeah.
the dog just died. It's like, oh my
Even with
god.
that little boy,
Yes.
that
Yeah,
just shows how stone cold they are.
right.
You
And he
know.
called it too. He pulled an 8 Mile, which means, like, have you seen the movie 8 Mile with Eminem where he,
I mean,
like,
yeah.
calls it out first at the very beginning? He's like, "There's nothing I can say or do that's gonna get you to support me or clap for me or anything." And then they just proved him right. So, yeah, that was yeah, okay.
Who's that? Mimi? I don't know. I'm not sure what the statements are.
Yeah.
He can resign. Is this a hater that we've got in the chat?
I think it is. I think it
Okay.
is.
Bye-bye. See ya. Don't,
Bye.
don't let, don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Cheers, Mimi.
Bye. That's a lot of effort. They find their way in. Don't let
I
the door hit you on the arse on the way out. Let's see the QFS. Yeah. Well, you're already seeing it in some ways, Patsy. You see things. Yeah. And the thing is, it's such a massive thing, isn't it? There's so many layers of it. There's so many layers.
Mhm.
But yeah, tell us about the inauguration, because you got to go there and tell us, because it was it was such a momentous couple of days, wasn't it? Really.
It it was. I didn't even know if I was gonna go. The day I left, I was still contemplating if I should go because everything was kind of up in the air. Like, okay, is it gonna be outside? Is it gonna be in the rotunda? Is it gonna be
Well, yeah,
in
because they change.
one
Yeah,
center?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, and then before I left, my daughter was like, she like prayed for me. And I was like, okay, is that a bad sign? Is she like worried that something's gonna happen? So then I was kind of freaked out a little bit, but I ended up going, obviously.
Youngest daughter.
Yeah. She's
Oh,
like,
bless. Yeah, 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 yeah.
please protect my mommy and get her home safe. And I was like, uh, okay, that was kind of terrifying. But thank you for that.
So
um,
you had it planned, but because of the change, you weren't sure if you were going
yeah,
to go or not. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So we stayed. I stayed with some friends from here, from my hometown, and we
I
were
just,
really close to the Capitol. It would have been really awesome if it would have been outside. We could have just walked over there, but it was inside of the Capitol, and nobody could go in, obviously. But I did get to go to. There was like an Iowa ball that I went to the first night. Then the second day, I went to the rally on the 19th when he walked down through the crowd.
yeah.
So I got into that. That was pretty
That
amazing.
was the Capital One. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That looked really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Then the next day, I didn't start early enough. So we ended up just going to a bar to watch the inauguration, which a lot of people did because
Yeah.
what else are you gonna do? So we watched from a bar about 2 blocks away from
And
the
so I don't know if
one.
I should say well, he was there with you for that as well.
Who?
B.
Oh, no. No, this I went to the rally with a bunch of friends. They actually the same friends I went to the Madison Square Garden rally with, and Vincent was
Yeah.
there. And then the second day,
Where was
Vincent
he on the inauguration? Did he get to the rotunda? Or was he in the bar with you guys?
No, he was there. I could have probably gone with him, but I didn't want the people that I was with to feel like I was ditching them, like, the whole trip
Okay.
to do those
So
things, so
he was quite close to the actual
he
physical
was in the
location
second
of.
row. No, not the he was in the Capital One Center, not the actual inauguration,
Oh,
so a lot
okay.
of people
Okay.
got to it.
Okay.
But then Trump did show up at the, Capital One Center after he was
Yeah, that's when he
inaugurated.
started doing the executive orders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Vincent was, like, he was the second row. I was
Right.
like, "Get into these things all the time, man."
Well, he's
Oh,
in history, isn't he? Because he's the man in the hat at the assassination.
yep.
So whoever Vincent is, they want him there.
He had tickets for me at Butler, the first rally too. I could have been there
You
had
could have
I
been at that one. Well, I wondered that when it happened, because there was someone that looked a little bit like you, and then I was like, no, that's not her, because I obviously saw Vincent there, and then I figured out that you weren't there. But yeah, Butler's 78 Kennedy.
Interesting.
And Butler, Gerard Butler in White House Down. You know those films? There's London Down, London's Fallen, Angel, White House Down. No, White House has fallen. What is it? Was it White House? There's the one about Angel. There's one about London, and then there's one about Washington. And Gerard Butler is the Secret Service agent that protects Aaron Eckhart.
White House Down.
White House Down there, yeah. And his name's Butler. I mean, his real name's Butler. I did a code on that. I can't remember all of them, but it tied in with the whole thing of Butler because it was the Secret Service. And there's a film with Gerard Butler playing a Secret Service agent that protects and puts his body in the way.
Oh, it's called Olympus Has Fallen.
Olympus has fallen. London has fallen, and what's the other one? Angel has fallen. The White House Down.
I'm not seeing that one. I'm trying to.
I think there's three. I think there's three. Maybe it's two. There's the London one, and then there's the Washington DC one.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just two. It might just be two. But Gerard Butler is the real guy's name, the character, the actor. But he's a Secret Service agent. And so, oh, lo and behold, where did that happen? It happened in Butler. Like, okay, yeah. So there's lots of things in the Matrix that extrapolate future backwards, sideways, upside down.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Speaking of that, let's answer this question. Yes, we do pay attention to our audience. Patsy wants the number on her name. And thank you, Susan.
Hey, so Patsy. And Raphael, Sophistry. Don't know who that is. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about, so I started a new show, which I have a hard time starting TV shows because I just have a hard time committing to something that long. But I started watching, oh my gosh, now I'm going to forget the name of it.
Person of Interest, PIN.
Yeah, Person of Interest, yes.
Yeah.
And holy cow, there's so many little tidbits in there that they just put it in there. Like one scene, Jim Caviezel always talking about how the CIA runs drugs, and the police officer who took this individual down was like, the CIA is running drugs. And he looks at him and says, we lost the war. Our government lost the war on drugs. So now they're using it to fund the war on terror. And then there was another time when the other character, Finch, who was also in Lost, which is another TV show. I don't pick, there's probably 4 TV shows that I've watched, and Lost is one of them. So it's interesting that actor is in both. And I'm blanking on the guy's name, but the guy with the glasses, Benjamin Lost.
Yeah.
His name is Finch in that show. And he's the one who created the machine that spits out the social security numbers of the people who are going to be either perpetrators of a crime or the victim of a crime. And at one point, they were talking about how they couldn't find anything on this person whose number was spit out. And Jim Caviezel was like, I don't understand why anybody would put all that information out on social media. It certainly made our jobs easier. And then Finch goes, that's why I created it. And I was like, okay, he's talking about DARPA. And interestingly, if you look at the numbers, DARPA is 40 and Finch is 40. So I just feel like there's just so many codes in this show. And I'm only on the second season, so I have a lot to go. Nobody spoil it for me. Don't tell me what happens in season 2.
So I just did Person of Interest, so PIN, P-I-N is 39. And that's also Big Ben. And this guy's name is Ben in the other show. And before we did this, you said you wanted to talk to me about Jonathan Nolan. So Jonathan Nolan's the screenwriter, the brother of Christopher Nolan.
Yes.
Christopher Nolan's, in my opinion, a big white hat director because they put so much through it. I mean, he filmed The Dark Knight Rises, the third Batman, in Trump Tower. That was Wayne Tower. In Inception, he gets DiCaprio to say positive emotion trumps negative emotion every time. Dunkirk, his film, you spell the word Dunkirk, it's 88. It's basically a metaphor of us Anons going across the water on our own, rescuing people, trying to do the best, And then he came out with a short film called Q. Well, it's Key, Q-U-A-Y, like a boat key. And it's got nothing to do with the boat. It's puppets. It's like 8 or 9 minutes long. If you do 8 plus 9, it's 17 Q. So it's Q key. It's a Q key. And then he did Tenet, which is 64 in numbers, which is Musk 64. But you times 8 times 8, it's 64. So there's all of that. And then he did the Oppenheimer stuff, and he's got his next one coming out next year. But Jonathan Nolan, his birthday is June 6th, 6-6, and 6-6 in numbers is lost. Corona 66. Event is 66. It's like there's all these parallels, but I didn't know the one about Big Ben until I just did it. But yeah, person of interest pin is Big Ben. That's the focal point of a lot of these predictions in films. Even there was something yesterday in Big Ben. There was a guy. There was Big Ben, and there was also and it had a 17 in it as well. And there was a guy on London Bridge. He put himself up there, and it stopped the traffic. Anyway, those reports you can see them if you go online. But it's all that stuff. But and then the DARPA initiative. So I was racking my brain. I remember watching Lost, and then they had this thing underground where with Desmond and this, these kind of luxury dumbs. Really, they were kind of building things underneath. And then I was like, and then you're like, no, it was Dharma, the Dharma Initiative, not DARPA, but the Dharma Initiative. It's like, and it's always been there. It's always been there. That basically everything in popular culture, science fiction, history, science, sport, every kind of category of things is coded, and they're all connected. And that's why it's the Great Awakening. It's piecing all the threads together, and it only makes sense later when you look back at it. You have to go through certain things. Oh yeah, DARPA. I'd forgotten. I'd even forgotten the name of it. I was like, there's something about DARPA in Lost. There's Dharma, like you said, the Dharma Initiative. What's Dharma?
The first time, I think it's spelled DHARMA, but that's actually
it is. There's a DAR.
DH. I think it's DHARMA. Let me look. I don't know why. I'm weird with spelling stuff. Dharma.
I think it is. I think you're right. There's something, yeah. And it's that hexagonal thing, isn't it? Dharma.
Yeah, it's DHAR.
DAH.
DHARMA.
DA.
It's a fictional research project and organization featured in the television series Lost. When Juan first talked about DARPA, I seriously thought of Dharma. I'm like, they sound so similar. DARPA, Dharma.
Say this slowly. How do you spell the Dharma again?
DHAR.
DHARMA.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a thing. So there's a thing here. So it says Dharma is a key concept. We've all talked about key in the Indian religions of Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism. And Dharma, but the whole Sanskrit thing is in Oppenheimer about now I've become the destroyer of worlds. And there's some of the like the pictures of it. Like I didn't know this until just now.
Interesting.
So the Dharma Initiative, yeah, Dharma.
I got to look up that Michael Emerson. That's the actor who plays Finch and Ben from Lost. He's a good actor. He really is.
He kind of freaked me out in Lost because his character arc was like they made it so it was like, who's this kind of bug-eyed guy, like, and he played it, and then you got to like him, because at first I was like, he was portrayed as someone that you couldn't trust.
He plays his parts very well.
Yeah, he does. I'm surprised he's not gone on to other stuff, because it looked like he could. Maybe he didn't take. That's it. Might have, maybe he didn't sell himself because he could. He looked like he was being lined up for massive stuff.
Guess where he's from?
Utah or Iowa?
He's from Iowa. He went to Drake, which is in Des Moines, and majored in theater. So he's from Iowa.
What's his birthday?
His birthday, September 7th, 1954. He's
September 7th, 7/7.
Yep.
They had that bombing in the UK on that. There was 9/11, and then a year or two later was 7/7.
Let's see. He's still active. Oh, wow. Okay, so let's see. He was in Batman: The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and Part 2. What was that?
What was that like a?
Oh, wait, sorry. That's from 2012 and 2013. He's in Man and Witch: The Dance of a Thousand Steps. He's an evil wizard That was in 2024 in a movie. So he still has some things he's doing. He's still acting.
Yeah. Not
But
like it.
I think Person of Interest was probably the last.
So Lost and Person of Interest are probably the two main that he's known for it.
Right.
Benjamin.
Well, I don't know. I think this stuff is immediately when I like paused it, I rewound it and then rewound. We don't rewind things anymore, Tom. We don't have like VHS tapes anymore. You know what I meant.
Yeah. But if you went down
Right.
one of the tunnels in Hawaii in the Dharma Initiative, you'd have Desmond playing a record player and having a cassette recorder. There he
Mhm.
is. This is the guy we're on about, folks. If you don't, you might recognize him from other shows. Michael Emerson. They're supposed to be making the resurrection. That's right, Justin. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Um, Michael Emerson. Emerson was a philosopher, wasn't he? Michael's 51. What's Emerson come to? Let's have a look. And the hero of that show, Lost, was Jack.
Yep.
So you had like Jack Kennedy. There's other Jacks.
Was it
Jack's
Kate?
25. Kate, yeah, Kate. Yeah, Kate and Jack. And then
Yeah.
all the others. And what was his name? John Locke.
Yes.
John Locke is another. So John Locke, that was based on another character. There's another, I think in poetry or other books, there's a John Locke as well. So I think that character was from that.
Yeah.
Emerson.
I just think all this stuff is so it's just been in our faces all along, just people either trying to tell us or like with certain movies, they're trying to like, I don't know, manifest those things or warn us or just the laws of the universe. They have to tell us what they're going to do. But in that case, it's like the TV show is already happening. So I don't feel like it was telling us what was going to happen. I think they were trying to warn us that it was already happening.
Yeah, it's already happening that time. So Michael Emerson, guess what that comes to?
What?
140.
Of course.
140. The Trump's 140 Tom numbers. We've got 76% on the battery right now as well. 76 Thomas. Ripple.
Well, that's just this morning I was dropping the kids off at school and we heard what song was it? It was Tears for Fears and it's Break It Down. If you've ever listened to the words of that, it's talking about secrets in a world full of secrets. You have to break
Mm,
it down. I just wonder how many of these different movie people and music stars and everything just put it all in the music, put it all in the scripts of their movies for us to find out. And we just, for years, we just missed it. It just went right
yeah.
over.
Is that from their new album?
No, it's an old song.
Because around Christmas time, they had a concert that was played at the cinema for one night only. So I went and watched it. And it
Mhm.
was really good. Like, played a lot of their old hits, but then some of their new stuff as well. And then they showed like during the end credits, like there was a bit at the end on top of it at the end, and they showed all these like psychedelic videos of their new album, which is really good. If you get a chance to watch it, you should watch it.
I will. They had
But
it.
there was loads of codes and loads of mess. I was like, I think they know a bit of both sides. That's what I got the feeling of, you know,
Yeah. Well, some of
or
their
at least awareness. Not saying that they were, but they like particularly not Kurt, the other guy. What's the other one's name?
Roland, I think.
Roland, yeah. So Roland, really, because he used to kind of be a bit more of the background of the two, but in this concert, he was really kind of front and center. And then I saw that he's basically written everything, so he's kind of the brains behind most of it. No offense, Kurt, but he's like the kind of powerhouse, and you could see that from the concert. But he was doing. I was watching it closely. I was like, he was coding on positive things, but then I think he's got at least an awareness of the other side.
Mhm.
And I think maybe he was doing it to expose, perhaps. Be interested to maybe see what happens with them. But it was that concert is well worth. I mean, you probably get it on Netflix or other stuff now, but it's well worth watching. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. Um, Patsy wants her numbers done, but I just like she's saying that please say my numbers are good. I think the numbers can be good or bad. So nobody should be like, oh, my numbers are bad, so that means I'm going to be bad or anything
Yeah.
like that. That's not how it really goes. So don't think that
There's
if you're.
always, so your numbers, yeah, it's the intention. So your numbers, yeah, I mainly pick out positive numbers. I'm aware of other ones, but there's no point. I don't, that's not my message. So as with anything, and intrinsically all numbers are good, because it's divine creation. But then we're in this simulation matrix, whatever it is, and then we're figuring it out. But both sides know the power of the numbers, and so I think what's happening is because we're going from dark to light, we're having exposure and disclosure to the reality of these things, and the numbers are laced within all of them. And so I've noticed with classic films and music and other stuff that there are good codes and bad codes. Some are predominantly good, even in the bad ones. Well, that's too simple. Basically, you find what you're looking for. So I've seen in big massive films, there's references to stuff, and I'm like, I know what that is, but then there's like cue codes in the film as well. And so I think it depends upon what people's intention are and what their focus is, and where your focus goes, your energy goes. And I think that's what. And energy is 74, which is Gematria 74. Jesus is 74. Okay, I hope this doesn't freak people out. I've said it before, but Jesus is 74. Lucifer is 74. So you can take your pick. They're exactly the same number, but it's one side of the other. One half of the coin. And so Gematria is 74, Tarot is 74, Energy 74, DeLorean is 74, English is 74, Simple 74. Real Donald Trump is 174, which is the quantum leap 174, currency exchange 174. So 74 is a super powerful number. And hence, that's why like 33 is a beautiful number. But people kind of understanding this basically, oh, well, the bad ones have got 33. Just because they use it doesn't mean 33 is captured. They might try to ring fence it, but because we're going through this great awakening, which is far bigger than any of us can really understand right now, or at least we're getting to witness it, but the full gravitas of it, I don't think will probably be a never-ending story. But 33 is a beautiful number. Tesla deliberately lived on the 33rd floor of the New Yorker hotel. He chose 33 because it's such a powerful number. Baron Trump, when you spell 33, is 156. Baron Trump is 156. And there's a close connection between Baron Trump, JFK, Christ, and Tesla. So I've known that for ages, but those four are really very closely connected. So don't freak out, Patsy, about your numbers, but just pick the good version. And so you'll be fine. You're on my show, and you're well intentioned. So you've got good numbers. You've got great numbers. God is 26. Game is 26. Card is 26. So God, Trump says he loves the game. He loves the game. So he knows it's a game.
Mm-hmm. Did you see? Did you see Dan Scavino's? He posted 2 tweets yesterday with the song "In the Air Tonight" by Phil Collins, and he posted them about an hour apart. I think one of them was a timestamp of 17, but it's crazy. I was just listening to that song Sunday, like on repeat in the car, and then he posted that song, and I think there's some kind of a delta on the 10th of March that stood out. So if you're on X, if anybody's watching this, when we get off, you should go check X and check Dan Scavino's.
Check out Scavino's. I think he's done that song as well before. It seems familiar, but it's interesting if he's doing double tweets like that. Yeah.
There were 2 of them. One of them was like the actual music video of the live video of him going up and like banging on the drums.
Yeah.
I think it was blue or purple, blue probably background. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other one was just like a music video that someone did, and it was really cool. It had have you seen Juan's video, The Calling, where it shows that song's playing and it shows the car speeding off?
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember that scene, and it had that kind of vibe. Like it had a car speeding off, and they were yeah, it was cool. So you should
There's
check
an
it out.
advert here. You can look it up on YouTube. So there's Cadbury's chocolate bar here. They have a gorilla playing the drums to Phil Collins. So there's a gorilla.
Yeah.
Purple's 88, which is Trump. Gorilla's 74.
Mm-hmm.
And during the pandemic, President Trump was age 74. The 74 I just mentioned earlier, it's Gematria, it's DeLorean. It's Jesus. And also, but Gorilla is 74. So King Kong is 88, and King Kong is on Empire State Building. Empire State, Empire State is 131, which is John F. Kennedy. And you've got King Kong, which is 88, which is Trump, and it's a gorilla, which is 74. And so, yeah, it's there again. It's there again. But it's purple. So Cadbury's, whoever's done that know it, and we've got Susan with the purple S. There you go on the chat. So it's always there. It's always there when you look for it. I say look, you don't have to look hard. It just comes to you. It's like something in the ethers that tells you, it lands, and you're like, oh, there it is, and it's right there in front of you.
I will say that there's we've had this discussion many times, Tom, where it's like the things that you don't want to come into your life, you just don't give your energy and you don't give your attention to those things, and they just kind of naturally fall away.
Yeah.
There is nothing truer than that. Because the more you focus on the positive, more positive comes into your life. And the more you focus on the negative, it's to the point where I posted a video about this book it's called like The Real JFK Jr. And this guy's claiming that he's the real JFK Jr. And he wrote the book in 2023. And I was like, this guy's it's not real.
Yeah.
For him to write the book in 2023, the timing says it all, first of all. But so I posted that video. And I don't know if it's because of the algorithm, because I posted that video or what, but there's people going on my other videos that have nothing to do with that one and saying, you should check out this book. It features the real JFK Jr. And so it's like giving me more of that backed to me.
Yeah.
And so then I comment and I'm like, no, I disagree with you. You really have to use your discernment in this time. Be careful, whatever. And then again, like this video over here it'll pop up with a comment, and it's just like, what in the world is going on? Before that, I hardly ever got those comments, but then it just popped up more. So I'm like, man, I need to quit talking about that. Now I just talked about it again. Dang it! Now it's gonna come up again.
Yeah. Well, and the thing, but like you say, positive. So positive is 115 in numbers, and last year's election was 11.5. That's no coincidence,
Yeah.
I mean, coincidence is a coincidence, because coincidence is divine timing and timestamps and threads in the matrix is what it is. But it's misnomer. So it is a coincidence, but it's deliberate. Coincidences are deliberate. They're proofs. They're God winks, And 115 is positive. That's what it is. And Art of the Deal. Where's the book? Art of the Deal is 115. Dreamweaver.
They're right next to me.
Dreamweaver is 115. There you go. Art of the Deal is 115. There you go.
Twin.
There you go. We both got it. So, and the thing is, look at this as well. I pointed this out before, but we've come around to it, so I might as well show it again.
Tom, are we starting a book club, Tom, right now on this YouTube?
Why not? Why not? We could do a book club. I thought I mentioned this before about I should do a show where I just read out the Trump book, but we could start a book club. Look, see if your version's the same, Rach. So it looks like it might be, but go to the opening, go to the last chapter pages at the beginning of the book.
Yeah.
What does yours say?
At the top, gaming.
The last two at the bottom.
Come back, a West Side Story, the week that was, how the deals came out.
So what page is the week that the deals came out?
355.
So 355 is remember the 5th of November. And so that was the X in the sand, because the reason they changed Twitter, Twitter's 11.5, November 5th. And the reason they changed the name, X is the 24th letter. And when did that election happen? It happened November 5th, X. And then look at the index.
I was just going to say that.
The 369 numbers.
Yep.
And even, I think, the week that was, or how the deals came out, I've got to remember which one it is 176, which is November the 5th, which is Back to the Future. And days before Trump won, so many were doing flips, like Joe Rogan, Zuckerberg, a whole bunch of them, including the New York Post. The New York Post put out a front page, and it said, Back to the Future with Trump. And it was like, and Elon is in Back to the Future as the Bluebird Motel, because the Bluebird Motel is 138. 138 is Donald Trump. 138 is Elon Musk. And it's Elon Musk Bank. And it's also I Am Twitter. And is there in Back to the Future. So all of this stuff has all been done already, you know. But like you alluded to, it's like the timelines, they're all happening simultaneously. So every version of reality exists. And we just have to tap into it and choose and focus, and then we can create our reality as we go along. What are you smiling at? You found something.
Oh, I'm just looking at all of his pictures. Like he has his dad, like his family.
What's the middle name of his dad? Do you know?
It just says Fred Trump, but
But
isn't it Christ?
Yeah, Christ Trump. Yeah,
That's what I thought.
yeah.
I still need to read the book. I don't know why. I got like a brand new version, a brand new copy of it from eBay. So I'll take it.
Yeah, mine's looks a bit older, but it seems like it because your pages are quite white. This is like older paperback, but it's still the index of the pages are the same.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump said as well on the Joe Rogan show that he's the dream weaver. He says he weaves. He's talking about the dream weaving. I'm like, okay, that's how he's doing all this, you know. And if
He
we're in a
said, "I'm
dream,
the dream weaver." That's what he said.
well, he's talked about the weaves. He says so. President Trump was wearing his yellow tie, and he was letting Joe like have, you know, it was his show, so he was playing kind of laid back Uncle Trump in that episode. But then he's like, yeah, you do the weave and you go, and then you get all these 9 threads together, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, and there's a miracle. And Joe's like just carried on talking whatever he said. But he's also done it on other stuff as well. Talked about the Dreamweaver, and I was like, he's telling us that he's Dreamweaver as well. That's Dream is 41.
Mm-hmm.
King is 41. USA is 41. My initials TSB is 41. Alien is 41. So aliens, because we're getting more and more disclosure on that, aliens have, some of them, I believe, well, they're telling us that will have higher dimensional abilities. And so they can do things when needs be. What's central casting? I think central casting is the ship. I think it's the New Jerusalem 146, central casting 146. They can play characters, they can beam down, just like Star Trek, and they can morph and change as they need to. They can do masks, they can do CGI, AI, they can do masks, they can swap bad actors, you know, clones, short versions of main characters. They can do it for baddies, and they can do it for goodies for protection. But I'm like, well, where is who are central casting? I think central casting is the ship. I think it's the Dove. I think it's the New Jerusalem.
Yeah, but if they're doing that, then they must be making them just obvious enough that we look at them and we're like, that's not
Exactly. That's the thing. So
not.
because it's so many layers, it's like us lot can see it. There's others that were awake. The awake, non-awake are now beginning to notice that as well.
Yeah.
And so even others that haven't realized will start to realize, but they're doing it just enough. It's like a few degrees off. It's like he's shorter than he used to be. Now he's taller than he used to be.
What
This
about
one's
Jake?
different. So it's enough for people, but then the ones that aren't are still going to be like, and so it's a multi-layered, multi-dimensional revealing game. It's brilliant, but I think so. Dreams are 41, Aliens 41, USA is 41. Yeah.
Somebody just called me today about JD Vance, and they were like, "Did you
Paul
know that
Walker.
JD Vance?" What?
Did they say he was Paul Walker?
No, but they were
Fast and Furious.
They were just pointing out the fact that it says he's 5'7", but yet everywhere he's not 5'7", he's like 6'2".
Yeah. Well, the new Elon 2.0 is taller than Trump.
Yeah.
And the old one wasn't. So the thing is, it's like, you know, they're showing everyone, aren't they, all the time?
Yeah.
And have you seen the theory? You've probably heard the theories about Elon Reeve Musk, like could be Christopher Reeve, Superman. And Elon's played up to him wearing the glasses when he was at Madison Square Garden with Trump. And then he's also got this scar here, which is kind of similar to where Christopher Reeve had the tube. So
I didn't hear that one.
I think all things are possible, you know. All things are possible, and it's like, yeah. But the thing is, the new central casting are great. So they're like part of the A-team. They're part of Trump's team. It's like these are characters that we can buy into now, and because it brings the masses of the world over. They're like, well, because let's face it, when people see these people that they've respected and seen, that's the easiest thing that's one of the simplest playbooks. It's like, okay, this guy was against it, now he's not, and that will continue to happen more and more and more, and then they'll be like, yeah, of course we're on that, and that's just how it is, because it's Operation Mockingbird through the TV, through all the other media. You just flip the media over to supporting Trump and America First agenda, and it's like, oh yeah, and that's beautiful, it's brilliant. But at the same time, the ones that can see the layers it's like there's something for everyone in each level of the game.
It's true. And I think what they're doing, I know that it's frustrating for us because I know we don't know everything too, okay? There's
Yeah,
some things we don't know, but we know a lot of things, and it's really frustrating for us to like just see this going so slowly and to see the news not flipping. Because I was like, okay, Trump's going to get in office. If the good guys are in power truly, then the news should switch over pretty quick.
yeah,
But then you think about it, you're like, you can't, because then it's completely obvious and you have to take things slow. We didn't get to this
yeah,
mess in a year or a month or so we have to take it slow. But I do notice certain things where it's like, wow, that person never would have said that 5 years ago, and
yeah.
now they're saying it. So it is happening. It's
It is
just
working. It is
so
working,
subtle.
and it's
Yes.
and the thing is, it's really unpredictable now. Like all these other things, like the America First agenda of bringing all these other countries in. I didn't see that coming. But America First is 122, which is Millennium 122, which is the golden age. It's 1,000 years of peace. It's like maybe it's longer than 1,000. I think it probably is, and maybe he'll reunite the whole world and then take us beyond the ice wall, or wherever, because it's massive, and Trump's in the Bible. Trump's in the I mean, John read out that scripture in Thessalonians at his mum's funeral. There's the Lord, the Archangel, and the trump of God. It's like, yeah, is it? Why are things called a trump card? There was a neo type. Russell Brand even said it the other day. He said Trump is like this. He's like this avatar in the Matrix to destroy the cabal. That's what he's doing. And he's always been picked. They had to pick one person to do it. I mean, he's got a whole team, but they had to have a tip of the spear, a figurehead. And his why are things called top trumps? Where did that game come from? Why is there a trump card in the tarot deck? Why is there a trump in the book of Revelation? Why, it's like it's just so obvious,
That's true. Yeah, I mean, it's the Trump stuff, because it is everywhere, but you just think that came first. But
Well, then you've got the Ingersoll Lockwood books, haven't you? There's an Ingersoll mine, there's an Ingersoll in Iowa. It's like, so all of it just weaves together. It's like, I mean, Ivanka Trump 146, New Jerusalem 146. She popped up and met me, and from that point on, I can I've said it all the time, I can deliberately and specifically plot my number journey from that point on. Even the time we met, even the day we met, it was like all coded. So we're in a beautiful game, and I think that's part of the awakening, is to realize that, and then it's like, well, hey, let's go to the next level. I mean, AI. Look how they brought AI out. I mean, AI.
how do you feel about AI, Tom?
I'm okay with it. I mean, when it first started, I was like, well, this is new. But then I'm like, I'm accustomed. I mean, I want to learn how to use it more. But artificial intelligence is 115, which is 11.5, which is positive, which is November 5th. Artificial is 88, Trump. So it's Trump intelligence. And I said this ages ago, but we're now here. I mean, where's it all come from? Where's all this AI come from? And that must mean there's far more powerful AI out there. And then it's like, do you trust there's a divine good plan in all of this or not? And that's why people go in the black pill mode, where they get all a bit worried about it and it's all doom and destruction. Well, they just wanted to wipe you. They just do it immediately anyway. So AI, I believe, is going to be used during the golden age for everyone will be super healthy, super wealthy, and AI will be used to serve mankind. That's what it will be used for. It's the best version. The timeline that we're going towards is the best possible scenario that you could even dream of. And
Right.
so AI is a great tool that it's like they'll have replicators. You want to have a perfect meal, you just do it there and then. You want to travel, you can just do it. Or anything that you dream. So Dream is 41, Alien is 41, so it's higher dimensional technologies, and it's, I think, and so they're bringing it out. But as with all of it, like if it was on a bad timeline, they could just have done us ages ago.
Yeah.
And they haven't done. But there is a divine component to all of this, like not just a component. The whole thing's divine, and it's bringing in art. Imagine in a few years, or maybe it's later this year, but further into the timeline, imagine, you've got AI serving you. Like you can have robots, you can have virtual assistants, do everything, and that becomes a higher level society. So it's like what do they call it? A grade 1 or a level 1 society. Right now, we've been in a mess, really. The world's been a mess. And so that's why Trump's cleaning everything up. I mean, Gaza, I didn't see that coming, but he's going to make that beautiful.
Yeah.
And so all these things, it's like, so I thought about it. I felt before it arrived, I was like, yeah, it's going to be used for good stuff. Then it arrived, and I was like, okay. And now the more I see of it, it's like, well, we're all alive, and we're going to be thriving with it. I think it will be an amazing thing.
Yeah.
That's why you've got people like that, Sam Altman and all the others in the office. It's like they're all like, yeah, they're all under this, whatever it is, and we'll just call it God, goodness. All characters are working for the benefit of mankind. And yeah, it's taking longer than we thought, or in our limited wisdom would hope. And yeah, I was ready 2020. I was ready to go for it. And then we've just had to wait. But really, it's just been a game of patience, hasn't it? And just kind of some irritations along the way. But none of us are dead. We're doing better than we were doing before. We understand more things, and the world is waking up, and the world will continue to prosper. Look at what Trump said on the plane the other 2 nights ago. He's like, "You can have so much money, you're not going to know what to do with it." It's like, what's he talking about there?
I know.
So everything, all these things, all these limitations. Trump is breaking down limitations every day, and we can do that in our own lives as well. But the world's changing, and it's going to be on the optimum timeline. That's what it is. That's what I believe.
Yeah. I think AI could be used for, I mean, it certainly helps with, different tasks in a business.
Maybe we are. Maybe that's the other. If you ask yourself this, maybe we are.
We are what? AI?
Maybe. Because what is AI? What is it? I mean, initially it's like it's them versus us.
Yeah.
But then it's like, are we avatars in this domain? Because I have asked, and I'm more at ease with it. But I'm like, why are we even here? Why did we even sign up for all of this? What's the purpose of any of this?
Yeah.
And then it's like the theory of like, well, okay, you're here to experience the different. There's the theory of we're all one, and that probably is the case. We're all consciousness, and we've divided ourselves to experience more and more versions of ourselves and understand and reality. And it's like you can live vicariously through someone else's experience and vice versa. And it's like, so are we AI? I mean, we might be. I don't know, but it's usually been us versus them. But I don't see that now. I see that we're all coming together, and they're going to be definitely kind of in the tool. And then people are like, well, what if it flips? Well, if you just kind of sit back and feel the whole ambience of the situation, it's like, no, this is just an upward, godly, progressive thing. Otherwise, they would have, if AI was going to destroy humankind, they could have done it freaking ages ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that hasn't happened. And so the other alternative, I believe, is it's going to be used as a beautiful, advanced thing, and there would be certain, and I don't understand what those are, but there are certain parameters that control, and we call it control for want of a better word. Control is 97, beautiful is 97, Kennedy's 97. So whichever you want through is 97. So I think there's this God component, well, God thing everywhere that monitors, and that thing is subject to something, And
sounds like the machine and person of interest. The
again?
Machine that watches. It said it sounds like the machine and
person. Well, it's sentient, isn't it? It's sentient. It's like, so what about these off-worlders? What about these people that can come and appear and visit you, and then give you a message, and then they're gone again? And the synchronicity. I mean, it's not just through the TV. It's like in our walking life. I mean, what's doing that? What is making all the synchronicities and timelines and numbers line up? not just through devices, but when you're out and about. I mean, how does that work? Then that is the question is like, well, are we just in a highly complex version of what we see on a 3D on a flat screen? I think we probably are. Elon said that ages ago, you know. So it's like, are we in a holographic reality? I think we are. And then
I
it's
don't
like,
think we
well, we're not all
realize that.
dead. We're not going through all pain all the time. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
life is an upward thing. So therefore, everything I see with it points to something advancing and good.
Yeah. I don't think we realize the power of our thoughts too. I just saw this
Yeah.
guy
Well,
that said,
we're co-creating it,
think
aren't we?
I think he goes, I swear that my phone can read my thoughts now. And I'm like, that's an interesting concept. But when you think about the articles that I've read about remote viewing and everything,
Yeah.
talking about like your brain is putting off a thought and it touches that molecule, which touches the next molecule, which touches the
Yeah.
next molecule, and then it can make a difference like on the other side of the planet or other
Butterfly
time
effect.
and space even. And I was like, man, if you use that concept, you
Yeah.
could technically change the algorithm
You
of your
can.
phone.
That's the thing. You can, and I want to change the fucking algorithms that we have to go through here on social nonsense. But
Right.
it's like maybe that's the lesson we've got to learn. It's like once you know how to do, and the thing is, it's like we're the observer as well. So we're the participant. We're being as, but we're. That's why things like in the newspapers and stuff. It's like okay, it's not a man in an office typing away watching our shows all the time. I don't believe it is. It's like AI or something divine is doing it and recycling the very things we've spoken back in a comical way in other media that can be proved. And that's, I've had hundreds of those in the last 4 years, and it's like something's doing that and it continues to do it. And I think it's showing us that we're active participants. Our thoughts, like you say, can create, and they do. They create this reality. It's a coexistence, And I think that's a big part of the Great Awakening. That probably is the Great Awakening when we fully understand that completely, then we're free to paint and the masterpieces that we always wanted. I mean, life is so much better than it was, but it's like when we get to that understanding of total clarity on our divine constant thing we've even been doing now, I think that's the Great Awakening. That's what it feels like. When you realize, yeah, we're here. There's been some great bits put out recently about AI, and people talking to AI and asking them basically about what is the whole thing of
Oh,
life. And some
it's
of the things it comes up with is like, wow.
yeah. I've seen somewhere it's actually like people, oh, I need to go in like 2 minutes too, Tom. It's weird because you see people that are like, um, tell me about such and such. And these AI sound like an actual person. It'd be really
Yeah.
hard if you're like on your own not to become friends with this non-human entity. It's kind of creepy. That
Yeah.
creeps me out a little bit. I mean, I think there's good things, but it's also like as long as we don't get too close to people get like emotionally attached to these things, which
Well, they might do, but then what if people find out that, I mean, if NPCs are real, like that's the thing, who are people? Who are we? Who are the people we think? Are they algorithms that just pop up and you know? So there's that thing, isn't there? The thing of separation and divide. But I think the awakening is like, well, actually, no, we're all one, and it's like, I mean, I don't know all the answers, but I'm excited to experience it and learn it as we go. But
yeah.
are people that are they algorithm? Are they programs? Are we programs? Program is 88. You know?
Well, it's just interesting that you ran into Ivanka. Then you came over to
Yeah.
Iowa, you ran into me just randomly. Just
Yeah.
like what are the chances of that?
I
Just
know. So that's the thing. It's like these things. It's like it, there's always something around the corner, and it's like the universe is a kind, benevolent thing. And yeah, you get some things along the way, and you're like, "Oh, I could do without that." But then you look back, and you're like, okay. But particularly now, I mean, life is just accelerating so quick. Um, and yeah, divine timings and divine interceptions, divine things that happen. It's like, and I think it's just the beginning, really. It just feels like it's kind of the beginning of where we're going. Maybe we don't. Yeah, I don't feel like we'll die, but then there's resurrection, and maybe, and then it'll all be in a blink of an eye anyway, and then we're on to the next game.
the next game.
Yeah. But it's all it's in here, isn't it? It's here and out there, and it's like, what is it? And it's fascinating. It's like the never-ending story. But I think it's more fun as you become slightly more advanced player in the game. You get these new abilities. You get new. It's Elon said it on Twitter. He said it a few times that he said the Matrix is about to upgrade. The system is about to upgrade. The world's reality is about to upgrade. It is. I thought that was going to happen November 5th in a more dramatic way. But the line in the sand was that Trump won far more easily than we ever could have expected because of what had gone on before. But now he's given the divine. Everyone's in agreement, even if they're opposing it, they're in agreement that he can just wield the magic wand as he needs to, and that's what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yeah.
Well,
But that went on longer than we thought. We were going to go to TikTok, but we'll do that. We can do that next time. Yeah. So
yeah, we'll do it next time.
Yeah.
But it was great to see you and catch up. It's been a while, so I'm glad we could.
It was fun. We didn't know where the show would go, but it was good. It was the nature of the universe.
It can go anywhere when we're talking about. We start with like movies, and then it goes over to
That's it. We're freestyling. It's good.
Yep,
it's good.
That's right.
Good stuff. Cool. All right, Rachel. We'll catch up with you soon. Thanks, everyone. We'll catch you soon. All right. Take care. Ciao.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.